We are watching data visualization using Tableau. In this video, we are going to create an area chart. Area chart is kind of a modified line chart, just like in case of a line chart, which we have seen in previous video. We have one dimension as date, and you can take sales or profit as a measure. We do the same thing in area chart as well. However, here instead of showing the sales or the measure as a line, it is shown as an area under the line. The advantage of doing this is we can have a view of the total sales for the period, because the area under the line will denote the total sales as opposed to the sales for individual month. So let us create an area chart where we'll take date as one of the dimensions. So we take the order date, and we have discussed that we can break it down to quarter and month, and this should be continuous rather than discrete, because we need to find out the line which is going to be a continuous one. So we'll change this to continuous, which is basically converting the date from a dimension to a measure and doing it for the month, and then taking the sales in the rows. So this gives me the sales for order date. Previously it was an area chart, a line chart. Now if you convert this to an area chart, what it does is that it shows the area under the line. This helps us to visualize the total sales that has happened in the entire duration. The area chart becomes more meaningful when we bring in one more dimension, let's say segment, and add it to the color. When we add segment to the color, what it does is it creates kind of a stacked area chart, and the area under each of the band shows the total sales that is happening for the entire period. So this helps us to visualize what is the total sales for each segment for the entire period. So this is what the use of an area chart is. Let us name this properly. Call it sales by order date, segment, name the sheet as well. Date, segment, here we go. Create an area chart. We'll leave the legend as is because we need the legend here because we need to understand which color depicts which segment. We are now going to see another form of a line chart. This time it is a combination of a line and a bar chart. We have done this kind of chart before when we tried to depict two measures against one dimension, like sales and profit against a subcategory. And we indicated one of the measures as a bar or a column and the other measure as a line. But here, the difference is that one of the dimensions has to be a date dimension. So we are going to depict sales and profit by order date. One of the measures will be depicted by columns and the other measure will be depicted by a line. Let us take the order date again. We convert this year to numeric, break it down to month, and we have the sales rows, profit, so in the rows, and we'll make this a dual combination chart. As you see that it has converted the chart into a chart where the columns are depicting the profit and the line is depicting the sales. Now, I can leave it like that, but probably visualizing the columns as sales and the line as profit will be better because profit may be negative and the line has a feeling of movement. So anything that can be positive or negative is likely to be better represented by a line rather than a column. What we can do, we can just change the sequence and see what happens. It's still, the sales is still line. So what we'll do is we'll first change the sales into bar. Now we have two bars, which is confusing. So we'll change the profit into line. Here we go. If we want, we can now use color to depict if the profit is going up or going down. So I can use profit in the color. And I can change this color, red, green, diverging. I can leave it like that. As you can see that this is a dual axis chart. It has the profit and the sales are having two different axes. We have discussed the advantage of having two axes, or rather two scales of two different axes. It helps us to compare the profit month on month. However, the disadvantage is that it is slightly misleading if we want to view the amount of profit as a proportion of sales for each month, because the profit is being shown in a smaller scale compared to sales. So we can synchronize the two axes so that both sales and profit come in the same scale. Before that, let me just hide these two. Don't need these cards. And we will synchronize the axis. So now both sales and profit come in the same axis. Now that both sales and profit come in the same axis, I don't need this. And I will change the name of this axis as sales and profit rather than only sales. And change this name month of order date. Instead of saying month of order date, I can just say month of order. Just say month, order month. That is because there's a shipping date also. So it's better to specify it's the order month. And here we have the dual combination chart. Name the sheet. We are going to move on to few other charts. One of the important charts that we are going to discuss is scatter plot. Now this requires detailed discussion. So in this video, I'll cover two other smaller charts, and in a separate video, we are going to cover the scatter plot. The next chart we are going to talk about is histogram. Now many times people confuse between a histogram and a bar chart. A histogram is not exactly a bar chart. Histogram is a distribution of some data into different bins. So in this particular example, we can draw a histogram of the quantity in terms of the number of quantity that is sold, divide the quantity in bins, and it will show the distribution of quantity that has been sold in a specific order. So let us create a histogram for the quantity of orders, quantity of products sold. In order to make a histogram, just drag and drop quantity into the rows and click on histogram. So what is going to do, it is going to have the count of quantity as the y-axis and the quantity. That means there are around 899 orders where the quantity is 1. There are around 4,800 orders where 2 units of product was ordered, quantity is 2. And similarly, 2,421 orders where 4 units of quantity was purchased. So actually, if you see that the bin that is saying 2 is means that 2 and 3, that means the quantity that was ordered was between 2 and 3. So it gives you a distribution of how many quantities have been ordered in a particular order. So this is a histogram. So let us name this. Histogram of quantity ordered. Okay. The next chart we are going to see here for this video is packed bubble chart. Packed bubble chart is similar to a tree map, except the fact that here the measure is shown in the form of bubbles and visually it is pretty attractive. So we can have subcategories and we can have sales subcategories and we can create a packed bubble chart, and you see a nice packed bubble chart where the area of the chart shows the sales and the color is denoting the different kind of products, and the products are also being shown as names over here. So I really do not need this particular region because the names of the product is already given, and it gives me a nice visualization in a different form of the sales of different products. Let's name this packed bubble chart. Sales by subcategory, packed bubble chart. Subcategory. Do not forget to save your work before you close.